Recently, I was reading this journal article which was published by Justice Deepak Gupta. And this article primarily talks about how compensation is calculated for accidents uh, coming out of motor vehicle uh, events or motor vehicle accidents. It's a wonderful paper. So, if you are a law student, or maybe you just have started your practice in consumer forum or before any tribunal, and uh, if you want to understand the overall corpus of calculation of this compensation, I would highly recommend that you go through this paper. It's freely available on the web. It it comes with a title of Award of Compensation under the Motor Vehicle Act 1988 Guiding Principle. So it helps you to uh, sort of evaluate the amount of compensation that maybe you or maybe your litigant is entitled to. There are a lot of important aspects uh, of this entire concept of computation of uh, compensation. Now, what I would like to share is this: in my experience, the biggest problem or the challenge that lies with the litigants is this: not having a proper proof of source of income. Though in many cases, I have seen individuals who come from a very established background, they have sound income, but still, when it comes to proving their source of income or their income, they face a lot of challenges because most of these people they do not file their IT return. So I think it's sort of a, I would say, it's not an insurance certainly, but it still helps at time because when it especially comes to this computation of compensation amount, the primary factor from which everything moves forward is your earning potential. There are many other factors, but your earning is a key component. And let me just show you how this is usually calculated. So, there are different factors that contribute to this calculation. So, for example, if there is a death, there is a way of calculating the compensation. If there is a disability, so maybe you lose an eye or maybe an arm or a leg, then there are different set of factors that get added when it comes to computation. Then, if there are separate provisions, if there is a, let's say, death of a third individual, maybe someone who is not an earning member, maybe someone who is a member of your family, maybe even a child. I hope that doesn't happen. But in all these cases, there are different scenarios in which case the amount of compensation they vary. Now, this is a typical example just to illustrate how this uh, computation works. So here is an example. Let's say that a 35-year-old individual dies due to a motor vehicle accident. And one other thing also that is very crucial, that is this person should also not be in fault with that accident, because if it is his fault due to which this alleged incident took place, then there is a chance that he may not be entitled for any compensation. But anyway, let's assume that this person, for no reason or for no fault of his own, met with an accident due to the negligence of the other side. And assuming that this person, again, this fact has to be established on paper, is earning. And that is why I said that filing IT return is very crucial, especially in this sort of events. And there is a monthly income of 30,000, again that needs to be established. There are dependents, and he is at the time of accident was 35 years old. There is a multiplier. Now this multiplier, there is a chart actually that you need to follow. So this multiplier is what actually gives the rise of the amount of compensation. And the uh, older you are, the lower the number is. So for example, if you are young, someone maybe 25 or 30, if your multiplier is 18, let's say, you get 18 fold of your annual income. If you are someone who is old, then it will be less, because government thinks since you are old, you may not have a lot of potential to earn a lot of money. Anyway, then there are some deduction and some additional heads of calculation for this one. Okay. Now, as far as if you do not know what the multipliers are or what is multiplier, again, if you read this paper, you will find it. And this particular multiplier, the list is also there in MB Act schedule. You will also find it. Uh, but anyway, the main objective of this for the audience, for the litigants, or maybe for the students, what are the factors that you need to uh, uh, look into, so that you can give, or you can maybe guide your clients properly. So for that, I was referring all of you to read this one paper, because many a time when you read MB Act, it talks about a lot of administrative type stuffs, and it talks very little in a constructive manner. Talks about this compensation, because that's majorly where your advocacy comes in place. So please read this book. Sorry, read this journal article. Fault liability. Remember, I told you the first thing you have to establish that the accident was not your fault. If it was your fault, then again, there is a chance that you may not get a lot of compensation. Okay. Assessment of compensation talks about how assessment takes place, the different factors, your earning, your age, your earning potential, your annual income. And then again, as I said, the annual income, it has to be on paper. Let's say that maybe per month you earn 1 crore by some XYZ means, but on paper there is nothing. It will be probably calculated as 4,000 or 5,000. The minimum wage factor will come in place. So it's very just compensation talks about how, what will be the just amount, and how uh, decision can be a decision can be reached at that will be just for you, and also for the insurance provider. Principle to determine compensation in case of death. As I said, there are many. Uh, there could be various events of death. There could be there could be major accident, and in major accident you might suffer one or the other form of disability. And there is a percentage actually from 0 to 100% disability. And uh, I read one paper, and that was a very interesting paper. I'll tell you the story what happened. So at the beginning, when the matter was with the tribunal, the tribunal assessed the disability around 30 or 40%. But let me tell you what happened. So this individual was a labor who was working, or who used to work in carrying goods and stuffs, okay, in a building. So in an accident he fell. Probably there was a crack in his backbone. So the doctor said that there is no way you can continue the same work. Now see, 100% disability, the concept of 100% disability is a very complicated concept. That means you cannot do anything. But even though in that judgment, I don't have that judgment with you, but even though in that scenario, if you remember, the only thing that helped to establish that 100% disability, because he had a crack. And if you look at the profession in which he was there, which was carrying bricks and all that, and due to the injury, since he could not perform, he could not continue on that job, it was by the Supreme Court, it was considered as 100% disability. Though he was completely fine. I mean, all the legs and hands, eyes, and everything was all right. So it was a very typical case where I saw that even though, I mean, so this 100% disability is not always about your hands or legs, but there are could be other factors. So anyway, uh, wonderful paper. Go ahead, read it. This is the title. You just search it on Google and you will find it. And if you still have any question, you can always put in the comment box. I'll be happy to try and address them. Thank you.